Hi, welcome to Camp Happy Mail. So today I've got a really fun technique to share with you. This is something that I saw Sasha Reed do a couple of months ago, and I just thought it looked like so much fun, and I had all the stuff to do it. So basically the only supplies that you need are some semi-glossy or glossy photo paper and some Distress Oxides, and that's it. So let's go ahead and get started with this. This footage that you're seeing right here in the beginning is my first attempt at doing this technique, and I'm realizing that my ink pads were not inked very well. One thing that you need to definitely make sure is that your ink pads are super juicy when you try to do this. So let's get these ink pads rejuiced and let's give this a try. So now that I have all of the ink pads re-inked, we can go ahead and do this technique the way it's supposed to be done. I originally saw this done by Sasha Reed, which I mentioned previously. She does a lot of things with photo paper, which is just fascinating to me. And I happen to have a lot of photo paper because I was a scrapbooker and photographs, and I used to print my own. And I'm trying to get back into scrapbooking a little bit, kind of. But really card making is where my love is right now. So anyways, I do have an excess of photo paper. So I really wanted to try this technique because I had everything to do it and it looked really cool. So basically, you take your photo paper, and this is just Office Depot brand. It is semi-glossy paper. You can use glossy or semi-glossy. And basically you take a piece of your photo paper and you pick some ink, and let's go for some yellows and oranges. And you basically do ink to paper, and you cover or get your ink out onto your photo paper. You can wiggle your ink pads and get some designs in them, or you can do a straight swipe. And I did just ink these, but they don't seem real juicy, so maybe I didn't ink them enough. But let's start with that, and that was spiced marmalade. And then we'll turn this around and let's do some wild honey on this. And actually, I am going to put on gloves for this. So just regular, generic, disposable gloves. Because I don't want to get my fingers totally inky today. I have some things coming up and I'd rather not have my fingers be stained with ink. So let's go ahead and do some. And that one may need to be inked. This is a brand new ink pad, and I would have thought it would have been inked. Let's give this another try because I just re-inked this ink pad. And that's much better. Okay, and because these are Distress Oxides, they're going to dry with a little bit of a haze to them, and that's perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and put this one aside. Put this aside to dry. Okay, and one thing I am going to do is I am going to sop up the extra with some cardstock. Okay, and we'll come back and add some more other colors to these. Let's do another one with different colors. How about a little bit of seedless preserves? And I must not have inked these up well enough, but you know what? We're going to go with it and make it work. Maybe. And how about some wilted violet with this? we'll let this one dry. All right, let's do another combination. How about some pinks and some reds? So this is some picked raspberry. And how about some, and actually that was worn lipstick. And this is some, this is the picked raspberry. So we got some pinks and some reds going here. And how about we do some abandoned coral and some candied apple. This might actually look good with some spiced marmalade in it. Let's take another sheet of this. I kind of like that way of doing it. It's a little more organic looking. You know, I think I might do the rest of them this way rather than trying to drag them. And let's see how some of those come out. I can see how this could quickly become very addicting, and you could have a ton of backgrounds. And I might be okay with that. How about, ooh, maybe pink or orange? How about some of this, actually? Now I'm sure I could probably dry these with the heat tool, but I think I'm just going to let them air dry. And then we'll come back to them. This could be fun because it has some pink in it. So let me grab another piece. Let's do another photo paper. See, this preserves. And an Uncharted Mariner. I like that one just the way it is, I think. Although it could use a little something down here. There we go. And let's finish this one off. All right, so we are back. Admittedly, it is actually several days later. I got sidetracked with a couple of things, and I'm just now getting back to these. But we are to the fun part of this project. I mean, yeah, doing the inking on the paper was a lot of fun, except for when my ink pads were dry. But you can see I ended up with a whole bunch of panels. Yeah, I went a little bit overboard. So for the next part of this, I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to save some of them. I'm just going to do a couple of them, and then we're going to make some cards. Well, I'm going to make some cards, and then I will come back and show you those cards because this video was already super long. So let's pick a couple of these out that we will ultimately make into cards, and I'll save the others for later. And maybe I'll come back and actually make some of those cards on screen. But for today, let's just pick a couple of these to finish the process out, and then I'll get some cards made, and then we'll finish out this video. So you can see that these are very, very chalky, and the chalky does come off on your fingers. I think this was just a blue one. The purple and the maroon one. I think that was purple and picked raspberry. I think we'll do this one. I think we'll save the blue one. You know, it's going to be a hard choice. Yeah, how about we'll do the orange one. These are so spectacular, the way that they turn out. I think you're going to be super surprised. Well, unless you've seen Sasha's video, then you already know kind of what's going to happen. But if you haven't, then it's going to be a big surprise. And I think, you know, there's so many options. I really want to do all of them, but we would be here all day if we did all of them. So, you know what? And we've got an orange one, so let's save this one. And maybe do the green one. Okay. So how about we do these ones? So, the next step in this is to take a microfiber cloth, give it a little bit of a spritz so that it's a little bit damp, and then we're going to wash off the chalky bits to reveal the ink underneath. Look, oh my goodness, look how vibrant that is. I love this part. To reveal what it looks like underneath with that ink on the photo paper. And I may need a new place on my towel here. Because we want to get all of the chalky off. Look at how gorgeous that color is. I would have never expected that underneath the chalky. That's fabulous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to set these aside over here to dry. Let's do the next one. Again, we're just going to spritz this with some water. And then start to wipe off the chalk. It's not really chalk, but you know, the finish from the Distress Oxides. And it just really brings out the colors. You can see the depth with all the layering and everything. I really think that smooshing the colors was such a great idea. Just gorgeous. This is my 3 favorite colors. Back in high school, back in the 80s, I had a jacket It was a ski jacket in the wintertime. Just picture it. It was the neon colors of the cyan, the magenta, and the yellow. And it was so bright that when I would wear that thing outside and there was snow on the ground, it was absolutely blinding. I mean, you needed sunglasses to look at me. It was a little ridiculous. But it was my favorite jacket. And I wore that jacket on into like the early 90s until it started to fall apart, basically. But just absolutely my favorite colors. And I just love it. You know, I just want to take this piece and just frame it. I don't even want to make a card out of it because I just love those colors so much. And it's so pretty. But we're going to make a card because I know that somebody else would enjoy this too. And let's do this one. I'm really enjoying seeing how these are turning out after the chalk is, or after the Distress Oxide finish. I keep calling it chalk because it reminds me of chalk, but it's not really chalk. But just to see the depth of the color and the layering from the smooshing. And they don't look anything like they did with that chalky coating on them. Just gorgeous. And you know, I might go ahead and rub off a couple of the other ones and then just make cards out of them. And not save them. Because they're too pretty to just put back in the backgrounds box. I mean, look at this. And one thing that I really love about this is these are all one of a kind. Like, I would never be able to duplicate these again. So whoever gets these cards are going to get actual one of a kind cards, which I think is really awesome. Oh, this is going to be amazing with the dark orange. Look at just the difference between the orange and then with the coating on it up here. Such a huge difference. I know my friend that loves orange. This card is going to go to her. And I think she will love it because she loves everything that's orange. Now I just had to figure out a really cool card to make out of it. I think that's going to be the hard part of all of these, is figuring out what kind of card to make out of them. It's going to be hard to cut them up or do something. I might just have to make them straight backgrounds. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Do we want to wrap a couple more? What do you think? I think we should, because this is just too much fun. So let's take a couple more. Now let's do maybe that one. Actually, let's do that one. And maybe that one. And you know, I really want to do one of these. These were done on matte photo paper. And I'm really curious to see how they're gonna turn out. I got two of them. Let's do that one. Okay, and we are gonna stop after these ones because I need to get the cards made. And we need to finish this video because I'm sure that you have other things to do, like going and trying this technique. Just gorgeous. I could just do this all day long, but then I would have to create more to be able to do it all day long. That's amazing. Kind of reminds me of a galaxy. I might have to make a space theme card for my husband. Let's do this one. I bet you this is going to be amazing too. They're all just amazing in my opinion. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right. And then this last one. This was on matte photo paper, which when I watched Sasha's video, she didn't use matte paper. She used glossy paper. but I was curious as to what they would do on matte paper. And this may not do anything. This might be a total bust. But we're going to find out. Well, there you can see the difference. And that's kind of cool because when it dries, it doesn't have the glossy sheen to it. And it's kind of a bummer that it's not glossy because this one's really pretty. But it's still very cool. Now, I saturated that paper, like oversaturated it. But I think we can still figure out something to make with it. Okay, so this is what we got. So let's see if I can keep these in the camera view for you. All right, so this is what we uncovered for today. So now I'm gonna go make some cards and I'll come back and share those cards with you and we'll wrap this up. Okay, let's talk some cards. I made a total of 7 cards and I still have a lot of backgrounds left over. So let's go through these and see what I made. I started off really easy. For this one, I used a cover plate die. I don't know if you can see it. There was a circle in the middle and then it was kind of like sun rays coming out. And this piece kind of reminded me of the sun, you know, with the oranges and the yellows. Then I used a piece of glitter cardstock behind it and cut out this little scallop circle. And then I die cut the words hi out of that so that you could see the background in between. Just real basic, real simple to start out. And this one, well, one of those kind of cards that nobody likes to make. You know, it's a sympathy card for somebody that's lost a pet. This one, I love the colors of this. And although it doesn't have all the colors of the rainbow, I think it serves the purpose well. I don't remember off the top of my head all the products that I've used on these, but I will have them listed below. So if there's something that you see on these that you like, just look below and I'll have them listed by card 1, card 2, card 3, and so on. So this is a die that creates the rainbow bridge for a dog, and they also make one for a cat. And then this sentiment, I believe, is scrapup.com or Simon Says Stamps. Again, I'll have it listed below, but just a real basic card. And then I decided to go Valentine's Day, because why not? So this is a very, very old die. I'll see if I can find it again. And actually I'm going to show you both of these at the same time, because there's pieces that overlap here. This is a cover plate that I got from Amazon, and it die cuts out some of these hearts, and the 2 bigger ones that die cut out, and I lifted those up. I don't know if you can see that very well. And then this is a Simon Hurley sentiment set. And so the hearts that die cut from this one, I used on this one, here, here, and up here. And this is the same U from the Simon Hurley set. Even though it wasn't part of this and it wasn't the same font, I thought it went just fine. And I think those make some really cute Valentine's Day cards. This one, admittedly, this is probably my favorite one of the group. Made this for my husband. He loves all things space, all things SpaceX. So I picked up a couple of different sets, and I do know the Astronaut is from a Stampin' Up set. Same thing with this sentiment. And then this background stamp is from Hero Arts. I've got a bunch of different space stuff that I like to combine together and mix and match to make him different cards. So versatile whenever you do that. Whenever I shop for things, I think about the people that I make cards for specifically, And whenever new releases come out that have things that are, for example, space themed, I pull out all my space stuff and I look to see, will it fit in with what I have? And this just fit the bill. And the background on this just reminded me of a galaxy. And so he's going to be getting this card. And then I needed 2 Father's Day cards. This one is for my dad. My dad loves hunting and fishing. And so I pulled out a old Stampin' Up set and I stamped the trees and the background and the deer and the sentiment. I learned a lot whenever I did this one. Mainly that whenever you heat up photo paper too many times, it starts to crack. So there are some cracks in this. It's not a perfect card, but I'm still going to give it to him and I'm sure he's still going to love it. Altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4, I had to heat this up 5 different times. And it is heat embossed. And something else I learned is whenever you heat emboss that many times on top of photo paper that has distress ink on it, after so long, the embossed ink where you heat embossed previously starts to lose its shine. And that's okay. Like I said, it's not a perfect card, but I know he's going to like it. And then the last one is a Father's Day card for my father-in-law. Now, my father-in-law was in a band back in the 60s, might have been 70s. They were called the Rose Garden. I'll put a link to them below. I think it's going to be probably their Wikipedia page. They had a hit or two. They actually made the charts. And he was the drummer in that band. And every year for Father's Day and for his birthday, I make him music theme cards. So again, whenever I do my shopping and I see that they've released something new that's music related, I always have to look to see, do I have something that would go with whatever they released? My stash of music related things has grown quite a bit. So this is just a music theme card for him. The music elements on this are from Queen & Company. And same thing with this, the black die for the label is Queen & Company. And then this is a Stampin' Up set for the sentiment. And again, just a simple, easy card. And so these are all of the cards together. Let's see if I can get them all on the screen here. All right, that's all of them. So tell me, which one is your favorite? I definitely have some favorites in this. This one is probably my absolute favorite of all of them. And then I do like this one. Even though it's not perfect, I do like this one a lot. And I love the cover plate on this one. But of all of these, I think this one is my favorite. So tell me in the comments, which one is your favorite? So that's what I've got for you for today. I hope you learned how to do something new. This is a really fun technique. I can't wait to use up my background so that I can do more of these. I hope you'll give it a try. So thank you for being here with me today through this rather long video. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.